Had an amazing 10-hour sleep last night, and now I'm ready for some fishing. So I'll show you where I'm going. Yesterday I started at Dunlop Lake on that little, right beside that speck of an island there, there's a public launch. Came up there, portaged up around the Serpent River, across 10 Mile Lake into the end of this bay where there are some buildings, which is a lodge. Portaged into Ezma, and then portaged there, right through that bay there into Swamp Lake, and then at the bottom of Swamp Lake portaged into Upper Mace, which is where I am now, and then I'm camped on that large island there on that left point. And today I'm going to spend most of my time up in here. There's a deeper basin there and a deeper basin here. Both of those areas have the deepest points in the lake, which are around 40 feet here. And there's Secret Bay here, is what it's called. And who could resist checking that out? So I'm going to spend some time in there. After this, I'll be heading tomorrow. I'll be heading down here. There's a portage there into Lily Pad Lake. And then I'll keep going through that and camp on Lower Mace Lake. Be there for 2 nights, waiting out some rain, and then I'll portage down into Pathfinder Lake, and from there I'll spend 3 nights there, and then I'm planning on doing some day trips into some side lakes, Raj Lake and Stone Lake, and then I'll come back into Claim Lake, back to Dunlop, and back to the car. So that's the route for the week. Loons on this lake have been really interested in me for some reason. This is bizarre. This loon will not leave me alone. He's about 20 meters away and he's just staying at that distance, calling out. And I'm moving around, so it's not like I'm near a nest, nor would it be nesting at this time of year. So, I don't know. It's nice. It's right here. Well, it's 11:03 and I still haven't had a bite. Secret Bay actually bottomed out around 10, maybe 15 feet. I misread the bathymetry, so that was fruitless. And so I've decided to get serious and go to the 3-way swivel rig. I normally don't like doing this because, as I've mentioned, I only have 2 rods back here in the backcountry, and I don't really like committing one to this setup because then that rod is out for casting unless I reconvert it, and I just don't like doing that. But this is a trout trip and it's summer, so I figured it's a good time as any to commit to this. So I left my my normal setup is 30-pound braid connected to 20-pound fluoro with a double uni. So I left that on because it's just less visible than braid and it gives an even better stealth approach. So then that's the 20-pound braid fluoro there attached to one end of the 3-way swivel. And then down here to the sinker, I've got 8-pound fluoro, so that can break off more easily if it does get snagged, since that's the most likely thing to get snagged. I wish I had a half ounce sinker here. It's not a super deep lake, maybe 3/4, but this is all I've got in the tackle box right now. Obviously when you're carrying it on your back, you don't really like to bring a ton of lead. It's kind of heavy. And then I'm going to start it out, the back end of the 3-way swivel, with a little Clio on just a little snap. And that's 8-pound fluoro as well. Ideally the sinker, the line to the sinker would be lighter so it can break more easily if it snags. It'd be lighter than this, I mean. But it's okay. It'll still be the first thing that breaks because I tied a bit weaker knot to the sinker. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can get lunch. Fish on. Oh, no. Just as I get the camera going, fish off. Brutal. Felt decent. I'm using the 3-way rig still, but now with this little twitch bait. Well, at least I located one. That's encouraging. First bite all trip. No. No. Oh no. Oh. Oh, that's devastating. I just lost a big splake. Oh man. I gotta look at it. I came back to where I got the first bite trolling the three-way swivel, and I've been casting the spin jig, and I felt it nibbling. I already got another hit earlier here when I came back, and I just felt another one, and I gave it a big hook set, and man, there was weight there. Pulled it up. It was a splake. I don't know, easily that long. Easily 5 pounds. Easily. Oh man. Oh, that's really, really devastating. That's a trophy. Oh, I'm just beside myself. But at least I've identified this spot. I've had all 3 bites here, and that one was big, so I'm gonna spend a lot of time here. Finally, on my 5th bite, I kept one. I was able to keep one, and it's a nice splake, probably 2 pounds, and that guy's gonna be lunch. And it's no wonder I lost the other ones, because the guy was rolling like crazy, a maniac. Really hard to hang on to them. Anyway, I'm gonna dispatch this guy quickly and get the fire going and have my first splake. I got the fish all cleaned up on the other shore, and I built this fire before I left in anticipation of cooking fish, so it's nice now. All I have to do is hit the ignition. I've never had splake before, but I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like lake trout. So here we go. Lake trout is my favorite fish to eat. Oh yeah, that's amazing. It's really flaky, it's falling apart. Oh man, oh. Okay, I'm gonna pig out. Time for a nap. Fish on. It's not putting up much of a fight yet. This one was on the 3-way swivel. Trolling, obviously. Does not feel too big. Haven't got a look at it yet, but it's pretty close. It's just below the boat, I think. Oh, there's a run. Oh, maybe something. Staying down now. Definitely has my attention. Still can't see it. It won't come up. And my forearm's starting to feel that feeling where there's probably something decent. I would just be so happy to get redemption on a big splake after losing that one earlier today. That one was agonizing, and this feels like it could be equivalent. The other one came up a lot easier actually, but then it rolled like crazy and it was off before I could react. This is interesting. The rod's bent over. Oh, there, finally getting something. Finally let up a bit. Holy cow. This has to be a decent fish. Oh yeah. Wow. Wow. This is interesting. What is this? Whatever it is at least 5 pounds. And in a brookie and splake lake, that's a nice fish. I can't believe it felt so light initially. It must have been just humming along with me, not really resisting. This is nuts. I can't, I don't want to horse it because I tried to horse the first one, that bigger one. That didn't turn out too well. Meanwhile, I'm just getting blown across the bay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he's coming up. I can see him a little bit. Not a good look though. And now he's... Oh. Oh man. Please come in. Oh! Oh my. Oh, please. No. Oh, no. Yes! He's in the net. Oh. Oh, he just had one hook. Oh man. Adrenaline pumping. This. Okay, hook's out. Fish is in the water. In the net. And it's, oh man. Man, it looks like a lake trout. There couldn't be lake trout here. It's not deep enough. Obviously, splake kind of look like lake trout, but that fought like a lake trout, and it looks like a lake trout. It's got a big tail. It's not giant, but it's a nice fish. All right. Man, that looks like a lake trout. This is weird. Look at that. It's filling the net. Okay, I gotta get this fish down quickly, so I'm gonna get it out quick and let it go quick because it needs to get back down to the cold water. Oh, that's so nice. I don't know how this isn't a lake trout. It absolutely looks like a lake trout. Anyway, I gotta let it go. And it's gone. Woo-hoo! That was fun. That was a really fun battle. I'm perplexed though. That was a lake trout. I don't know how it exists here. It's not a deep lake. I swear that's lake trout. But then again, I've never seen or caught a splake that old. So maybe they, no, the fins did not look like splake. They couldn't have been. Anyway, I don't know. I don't care. That was a lot of fun. I'm just giddy. Pretty hard to resist the urge to weigh and measure a fish like that. Because if it is a splake, then it was definitely trophy. And if it was a laker, it was just a nice one. Got it on that guy. But I couldn't risk hurting that fish. It's an old fish, probably. And if it didn't get down to deeper, colder water quickly, then it risks going belly up, and it wouldn't have been worth it if I had to measure it, you know, if that had happened. So I'm okay with it. Another fish on. This is an absolute honey hole. There are so many fish here. I've gotten a lot of bites. And I mean, for trout, a spot like this is pretty hard to come by. Again, it started off slow, but now it's feeling like there's a little something there. Definitely smaller and splake. Pretty similar to the one that I kept, but a little bigger. It's in the net, hooks out, perfect. That'd be a lake trout. There's no way. I'm gonna try and get some good shots of it here for confirmation later, but that has to be a lake trout. Go on, go deep. Yep, straight down. Okay, well that's really interesting that there are lake trout in a lake that is barely over 40 feet. And it's not even connected to any other lakes that are deeper. It flows into Lily Pad Lake, which is about the same depth. But the fish wouldn't come up from here, nor would that lake hold lake trout. And I don't think anything drains into it that would be able to supply lake trout. So this is really quite interesting. I thought the shallowest lakes that I've ever seen holding lake trout are at least 60 feet. So I'm gonna have to look into this when I get home. I always have so many questions that I wish I had the internet for when I'm out here. Burning questions. Another one. Yet again, not much going on here at the beginning. And that is often the case with lake trout, and then they see the boat, and then you get pound for pound the best fight there is in fishing Ontario. Smallmouth bass might be second place. Can't even see it, it's right here. It's right in the sun, so I can't make it out. I should probably get the net. I don't know why I'm being so nonchalant about this. Could be a brookie. Oh boy, this is that was a hack job. It's in the net, but that was sloppy. Hooks out. And I think it's a splake. Can't see, but let me get the hook out of the net. I always like to get the hook out of the net before I take the fish out, but whatever. Let's see. Ah! I'm already at 2 of my 3 trout. This looks like a laker to me. I've got splake and lake trout today. It's a little one. Oh. Actually, this might be splake. Yeah, that's a splake. Okay. Pretty sure anyway. There it goes. Well, doesn't matter. This is just a blast. I'm using these forceps to get hooks out. I've had these for a while. I like them a lot. And I usually use them in place of pliers, especially in the backcountry, because pliers are heavy. And these are much lighter. And I just picked up these, which is a much bigger version for, you know, if fish is more deeply hooked, or if it's pike and I don't want to get my hand in there. Really nice light alternative. I also keep, I can't remember the name, but those, they got like a clamp you pull down, it's got the teeth at the other end, and a long neck for getting deeply hooked pike unhooked. Because if you don't have those and you run into that situation with a pike, big one with the bait way down its mouth, you're in for a tough time. And I can't stress the importance of getting these trout down quickly. I think I've read that within 3 minutes a trout can die at this surface water in the summer. And it really needs to get back down there quickly, so if you're not going to keep it, that is imperative. Man, that was such an awesome day. Really can't ask for much more. I am celebrating with a bonfire and some scotch. Scotch is Islay Mist. It's blended Scotch whiskey, so it's not single malt Scotch. But I quite like it. It's got a nice light amber gold color with a vanilla, toffee, and peat nose. With respect to the palate, I would say the peat gradually lightens to a buttery sweetness, almost. And then the finish is light peat and warm and satisfying. I don't know what any of that means, but it's on the little label that comes with it. Sounds nice. I've barely seen a bug all day, and it's dusk, and there aren't any even right now, and that's amazing. So nice. I haven't been able to enjoy a bonfire hardly in weeks, many weeks. On the portages yesterday, I was able to wear shorts. I haven't done that all summer because it's just not worth having the bugs biting your legs. Today was really made possible in a lot of ways by the bathymetric maps I have downloaded. They're historical, so they're usually from 70s, around there. It looks like they surveyed a lot of lakes in the 70s. Without that, I wouldn't know where to look for the deep basins. Sometimes it's intuitive on a lake. You can kind of see the general lay of the land, and there's a central basin in the middle of the lake, but it's not always like that, and it's definitely not on this lake with all the islands strewn throughout it. The basins are kind of, the 2 deepest basins are not really where I would expect them. So getting into trout in the summer, it's so essential to have that information, and I think I have it for the rest of the lakes that I'm staying on. You can't get these historical maps for every lake, but you can get them for a lot. So that's really a huge advantage at this time of year for these species.